Hello and welcome to the Southern Miss Intramural Sports Kickball Online Captains Meeting. The purpose of this meeting is to replace the in-person Captains Meeting that is typically held before the season starts. Once you have completed this presentation, you will need to continue on and complete the Captain's Quiz in order to register your team. Let's begin. So what does a captain need to do? Captain should be familiar with all rules, schedules, policies, and procedures, and pass this information along to their team members. That way everybody's informed about what's going on. Captain should also assist the intramural sports staff with the implementation of the sportsmanship policy, a policy that we will go over later in this presentation. Teams are encouraged to arrive at least 15 minutes early to every contest. This allows the teams to warm up and to check out any equipment they might need and to start the game on time. Captains are also the representative for each member of the team. It is encouraged that team captains are the ones to discuss rule interpretations and calls with our student officials. Participants are encouraged to have a physical examination and obtain adequate insurance prior to participation in recreational sports activities. Individuals who participate in recreational sports activities will be doing so at their own risk. Participation in recreational sports is voluntary, and the University of Southern Mississippi is not responsible for any injury that may occur to participants. Student health and accident insurance information may be obtained through Student Health Services at 601-266-5390. Concerning lost or stolen items, Southern Miss Recreational Sports assumes no responsibility for items that may be lost, stolen, or damaged during intramural activities. All students are encouraged to secure their valuables. If you are concerned about the security of your valuables, you may locate the sports supervisor on duty, and he or she will attempt to locate a safe place for your belongings. There's a chance that during the fun and excitement of intramural sports, the recreational sports department may want to photograph and videotape participants and use those photographs and videos for promotional materials. If for some reason you choose not to be photographed or filmed, please notify the staff and we'll delete any of the pictures or videos that we have of you. As you're putting together your championship squad, you probably want to know who can play on it. Currently, all undergraduate and graduate students who are enrolled at the university are eligible to play. Faculty and staff are also eligible to play, granted they have purchased a rec card. Spouses of these eligible participants can also participate through the purchase of a rec card in co-rec leagues only. Spouses must be on the same roster. Here at Intramural Sports, we welcome and encourage all students to play intramurals. Sometimes those students are collegiate athletes. Concerning current or former varsity athletes, only 2 individuals who have ever participated on a collegiate level in a sport related to the intramural activity they are attempting to participate in may be on the same roster. Concerning sport club members, only 2 current sport club members are allowed on the same roster in a sport related to the club that they are a member of. Now, when teams wish to play with a sport club athlete and a varsity athlete on the same team, teams can only have a maximum of 2 members who fall under the current, former varsity athlete or sport club member description. These are new rules to the 2015-2016 academic year. Many students ask, how many intramurals can I play? Well, the answer to that question is, you can play as many intramurals as you want. However, players can only compete for 1 single-sex team and 1 co-rec team per sport. Players may not transfer from one team to another. There are some new changes this year to the ID policy in regards to checking in to an intramural event. Participants who appear on the imleagues.com team roster by noon of the day of their event may check into the intramural activity with any form of government picture ID. Participants who wish to check into the event but do not appear on the imleagues.com team roster must present their Southern Miss ID or rec card. Where does kickball take place? Kickball takes place at our intramural field sports complex located next to Fraternity Row and beside Reed Green Coliseum. Teams will consist of a maximum of 8 players. A minimum of 6 players are required to start the game. Teams shall designate a team captain or representative to communicate with the intramural staff. A team includes players, spectators, and coaches. It is the responsibility of the team captain to ensure that all teammates behave in a sportsmanlike manner. Many of you may ask, do I need to bring any equipment? The answer is no. Intramural sports will provide all equipment needed to play kickball. This includes balls and bases. However, players are required to wear athletic clothing. Here are some examples of legal and illegal clothing concerning kickball. Exposed jewelry of any kind is not to be worn during the game. Below are examples of items that intramural participants will not be allowed to wear during intramural activities. If you have a medical alert bracelet or medical alert necklace, please notify the intramural supervisor on staff, and we will work with you to secure that item to either your wrist or to secure it to your chest. How long do games typically last? The length of the game will be 6 innings or 50 minutes, whichever comes first. If at the end of 50 minutes an inning is still in progress and the home team is losing, the inning will be played through its conclusion. There is a mercy rule. If a team is winning by 10 or more runs after the 5th completed inning, the game shall be over. Kicking. Each kicker will receive up to 3 pitches. The kicker shall be called out if on any pitch he or she contacts the ball in front of the kick line or fails to put the ball into fair territory beyond the bunt line. Let's look at some regulations for pitching. The kicking team will provide its own pitcher. There will be a defensive team pitcher as well, and that person will place themselves within 10 feet of the offensive pitcher. The offensive pitcher may not come into contact with a kicked or thrown ball. When running the bases, runners may not leave the base until the ball is contacted by the kicker. Leaving the base early will result in an out. Deliberately contacting a defensive player will also result in an out. If a defender was attempting to make a play on another runner, that runner will be out as well. Players are not required to slide. There is no infield fly rule, and a runner who purposely uses his or her head to stop a thrown or kicked ball will be called out due to interference. When it comes to fielding, all defensive players, besides the defensive catcher, must remain behind the restriction line until the ball is kicked. The defense may peg a runner. However, the ball must contact the runner below the shoulders. Any overthrows that leave the playing field and travel into dead ball territory will result in the runners being awarded the base they were headed to plus the next base. Play on a co-rec team? If the answer is yes, here's some special rules that you should know for our co-rec kickball leagues. Teams may play with a maximum of 8 players and a minimum of 6 players. Teams may kick up to 10 players, but those extra players must be 1 male and 1 female. If playing with 8, the ratio must be 4 and 4. If playing with 7, the ratio can be 4 males and 3 females, or 4 females and 3 males. If playing with 6, the ratio must be 3 males and 3 females. All players who play defensively must also kick, and vice versa. Players and substitutes must participate in a full inning in succession unless removed by injury. This means they must play defense and kick before being subbed out. All substitutes must be male for male and female for female. When it comes to kicking, teams must alternate gender in the kicking order. If a team kicks with 7 players, an out must be taken in the empty 8 spot. This is to prevent teams from having the same gender kick back to back. When a female is up to kick, all outfield players must remain behind the restriction line until the ball is contacted. When it comes to fielding, teams must have a minimum of 2 female infielders located in front of the co-rec restriction line. If for some reason a team wishes to protest rule interpretation or player eligibility, here are some guidelines that team should be aware of. Individuals who wish to protest must do so at the time of the incident in question. Judgment calls are not subject to protest. The protesting team must notify the site supervisor to suspend play. The supervisor will then document the contest facts and file a report. Signed protest forms must be submitted to the Wellness Center the day following the contest in question. Southern Miss Intramurals reserves the right to investigate the eligibility of teams and players. These investigations may result in suspension, forfeiture, and probation. In order to keep games starting on time, Southern Miss Intramural Sports adopts a policy that game time is forfeit time. If teams know that they cannot make their scheduled match time, there are 2 options that team has. One is to forfeit, and the other is to default. Teams that fail to have the required number of players present at the game site at the designated game time must forfeit the match. A forfeit results in a loss for the team, a sportsmanship rating of 2.0, a suspension of the team captain, and a fee of $15 assessed to that team captain. Once this fee is paid to the Pain Center sales desk, the forfeiting team's captain's suspension will be lifted. The better of these two options is to default. If a team informs the intramural office that they cannot make their scheduled game by noon the day of their game, or even further in advance, the game will be defaulted and result in a loss for the defaulting team and a sportsmanship rating of 3.0. There are no fees associated with defaulting a game. Here is the sportsmanship scale for intramural sports. After each game, the officials and site supervisor will come together and determine the sportsmanship upon the behavior of that team during the game. Keep in mind, a team includes players, coaches, and fans. Examples of factors that could affect a team's sportsmanship rating may include team or player dissent towards an official, unsportsmanlike conduct penalties or technical fouls, abusive language, excessive celebration, unruly fans, and so on. Teams must maintain a sportsmanship of 3.0 to be eligible for playoff competition. League information. Schedules and brackets will be posted to imleagues.com/USM. You can find these easily on your team page. Game times are based on the division you register for. For example, Mondays at 10 p.m. This means that you will play every Monday at 10 p.m. Be sure to check your email for updates. This will often be our primary source of communication between us and you. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. You can contact Sean Clark, Assistant Director of Intramurals and Club Sports, or David Calhoun, Graduate Assistant of Intramural and Club Sports. You can reach us at 601-266-5520, intramurals@usm.edu, or you can message us directly at imleagues.com. So what's next? By continuing on and completing the Captain's Quiz, you are now verifying that you have completed the online Captain's Meeting video and are aware of all rules, policies, and procedures related to kickball. If you have any questions, please contact the intramural office through the information provided in the previous slide. Thank you for completing the Intramural Sports online Captain's Meeting for kickball. We wish you the best of luck in the upcoming season.